September 26, 2025. The Ukrainian Army's artillery units are conducting intensive operations along the front line. The units are targeting and destroying enemy forces, particularly their concealed weapons. The Russian army had hidden a large number of D-30 howitzers and Msta-B howitzers in forested areas to attack Ukrainian positions. However, Ukrainian reconnaissance units managed to pinpoint the coordinates of these weapons during the hours when enemy forces were active. Subsequently, following orders from the command center, Ukrainian artillery began firing intensively at these points where the enemy army's weapons were hidden. During the operation, reconnaissance unit observation drones tracked the locations of Russian weapons in real time. After the artillery units fired, they directed their fire toward the targets. This ensured that the targets were destroyed with a high degree of accuracy. Reconnaissance units also attacked Russian shelters identified in the area with FPV kamikaze drones. Drone operators carried out successive attacks on enemy shelters, inflicting serious losses on the enemy. During the operation, the reconnaissance unit also detected an enemy UAV control center. The unit relayed the enemy's coordinates to the artillery unit within seconds. After carefully adjusting the coordinates of this important target, the artillery unit fired and scored a direct hit. A huge explosion completely destroyed the enemy's UAV control center. September 28, 2025.
Вот это аттракцион, блядь! Да нас остановили! Да ну нахуй! Разъебывают, пидорасы! Да ну нахуй, пизда!
The Ukrainian intelligence service carried out a major attack in the Belgorod region of Russia in the evening. The service targeted power plants belonging to Russian forces. In these attacks carried out with kamikaze drones, large explosions occurred at the enemy forces' power plant. This attack created a chain reaction in the region. September 23, 2025. The Rubezh Battalion, affiliated with the Ukrainian Army, heavily bombarded a location where Russian soldiers were stationed. Russian soldiers were using these abandoned buildings both as shelters and staging points. Ukrainian forces began dropping bombs from unmanned aerial vehicles onto this building where enemy forces were hiding. These bombs had such high destructive power that they caused major damage to the buildings upon detonation. The enemy soldiers panicked due to the powerful explosions. The Ukrainian unit's goal was to put pressure on the enemy. These powerful bombs did exactly that. Ukrainian army units were working in a coordinated manner in the field, and the reconnaissance unit tracked the Russian infantry moment by moment after the explosions. And it sent the coordinates to the assault team. Finally, the expected happens. These violent explosions put immense pressure on the Russian soldiers. The infantrymen emerge from their hiding place. With their hands raised, their body language indicates that they want to surrender. The Russian infantrymen who surrender to the Ukrainian army are quickly taken prisoner by the Ukrainian infantry. September 2025. Ukraine's FPV kamikaze drone slowly advances. Its target is a Russian T-62M tank hidden in the shadows of trees within a forested area. The drone operator proceeds with extreme caution as he navigates through the trees. A single misstep would mean the kamikaze drone would be destroyed before reaching its target. The kamikaze drone locked onto the Russian tank and approached it with precision. It launched a precise attack on the armored vehicle's weakest point. Seconds later, black smoke began rising into the sky from the Russian forces' armored vehicle. The unit completely destroyed this enemy armored vehicle, worth millions of dollars, with just one kamikaze drone. August 30th, 2025. The Ukrainian Air Force carried out a high-precision airstrike against a critical enemy target in the Obliterates settlement area, south of the Kherson region. According to intelligence data obtained prior to the operation, Russian forces were using the grain elevator in the area as an advanced control center for unmanned aerial vehicle operators. Russian forces had built this control center to be quite robust. The height and solid reinforced concrete structure of the building provided a suitable base for antennas and communication systems, while also providing a protected position for command elements. However, detailed work by Ukrainian reconnaissance and intelligence units had identified the enemy target's weakest points. A Ukrainian Air Force fighter jet dropped guided munitions on the enemy target. The munitions fired successfully hit the enemy target. The explosion of the guided bombs severely damaged the building belonging to Russian forces. The Russian UAV operator personnel and electronic equipment inside the building were destroyed. According to preliminary assessment reports obtained after the attack, the enemy's unmanned aerial vehicle control capacity in the region has been significantly weakened, causing temporary blindness, particularly in reconnaissance and fire control activities along the river line. After the attack by the Air Force, the munitions at the enemy target caused secondary explosions, and the enemy elements were completely destroyed. September 10, 2025. Elements of the Ukrainian Defense Forces carried out a targeted operation to suppress enemy artillery activity on the front line. Based on intelligence provided by reconnaissance units, enemy artillery battery firing positions were identified and high-precision strikes were carried out using coordinated FPV drone attacks. The Ukrainian army devised a detailed attack plan to destroy enemy artillery systems. The command center organized a powerful offensive operation based on information from reconnaissance units. Ukrainian forces quickly launched powerful attacks to break the enemy's artillery power. The Ukrainian army carried out this operation in a multi-pronged manner. Both Ukrainian artillery units and kamikaze drones were involved in the operation. Artillery units carried out precision strikes on the coordinates reported by reconnaissance units. The artillery strikes hit Russian targets squarely. Kamikaze drones also moved in tandem with the artillery units. They subjected the enemy to intense fire from both artillery strikes and kamikaze drones. Russian forces had hidden their artillery systems in forested areas. However, FPV kamikaze drones approached enemy targets with precise maneuvers and struck. The Ukrainian army's intense attack caused successive explosions at enemy targets. Each explosion shattered another of the enemy's systems. On one hand, FPV kamikaze drones, and on the other, artillery fire virtually trapped the enemy target. Russian soldiers could not escape this trap. Ukrainian forces also managed to neutralize enemy soldiers trying to escape using kamikaze drones. The Ukrainian army's advanced drone systems were also the biggest factor in the success of this operation. This is because these systems have night vision capabilities and can detect the body heat of enemy soldiers. Such factors enabled enemy targets to be destroyed with a higher accuracy rate. As a result of this coordinated operation by the Ukrainian army, many weapons and artillery systems belonging to the Russian army were successfully destroyed. August 29, 2025. Ukrainian forces conducted a cleanup operation in the settlement of Zeleny High, located in the Novopavlivka direction of the Donetsk region. As a result of Ukraine's precise reconnaissance efforts, it was determined that Russian soldiers were stationed in abandoned villages. The Ukrainian Army Command Center ordered the destruction of the enemy target using both unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, and infantry. Ukrainian reconnaissance drones carried out a coordinated operation with foot soldiers. Foot soldiers surrounded the houses where enemy soldiers were located. The Russian soldiers under siege were cornered. At that moment, attack drones equipped with high-destruction kamikaze drones were deployed. As a result of the precise strikes by FPV drone operators, violent explosions occurred in the buildings where enemy forces were hiding. The successive attacks by Ukrainian FPV drones neutralized enemy soldiers at their locations. Ukrainian infantry confirmed that the enemy targets were completely neutralized as a result of the explosions. September 9, 2025. Ukraine's Signum drone unit launched an attack on Russian forces in the direction of Lyman. First, a Russian Buhanka minibus was hit and destroyed. Then, a UAZ vehicle on the side of the road was destroyed in the same way. Another vehicle hidden in the forest was also targeted and destroyed. Finally, a Russian soldier attempted to escape by jumping out of a military vehicle but was unable to do so. In this incident, Ukrainian drones neutralized several Russian vehicles and the soldiers inside them.